Greetings, programs. I'm Rus McLaughlin, and this is Apparent Gaming, where I'm going to spend the next few minutes explaining something parents want to know about their kids' video games, because when it comes to video games, there is a lot, and I know you don't have the time or the energy.
Chase me!
I get it. I've been in the video game industry for about 15 years, working for studios, platforms, publishers. I even covered the industry as a journalist. So I'm able to answer my son's questions, and all of their friends' questions, and all of their friends' parents' questions, and my wife's friends who are also parents' questions. They have a Facebook group. Hey, hon, who's this DH you keep posting about? Oh. And one of the big questions I get a lot is, what do I know about Fortnite? A lot, actually. So let's start with the basics. Fortnite is a third-person multiplayer shooter, meaning you spend the majority of your time looking over your character's shoulder, shooting at other characters that are mostly played by other real people. And the type of Fortnite that your kids are talking about is in the Battle Royale genre, named after a very controversial series of Japanese novels and their movie adaptations, which you should never ever let your kids watch, not even when they're grown up. Just no. Ever! Now, what typically happens in a Battle Royale game is you hang glide unarmed into a huge environment where you immediately start scrounging for weapons and equipment, and then you go hunting for all the other players. You might do this as part of a big team, in squads, or solo, going commando against the other 99 players running around the map. That's Schwarzenegger Commando, not Underwear Commando. Maybe both. Meanwhile, a destructive storm is constantly closing in, shrinking the play area and forcing the surviving players together so they can conveniently shoot each other. The last person or team standing wins. And incidentally, everything is instantly saved to the cloud, so if your kids are telling you, oh, you can't quit now, we'll lose progress. Nope. There are actually quite a few free-to-play Battle Royale games out on the market these days. Apex Legends has become rather popular, and Call of Duty, one of the biggest game franchises on the planet, released Warzone mode for its players. But what separates Fortnite from all the rest is its build mechanics. Virtually everything in Fortnite's environment can be smashed apart with your pickaxe to give you building materials with which you can instantly create platforms, ramps, and walls for instant cover if someone starts shooting at you. Building is a major part of Fortnite, and matches are usually won not just by the people who shoot the best, but by the people who build the best. And if that seems like kind of a random thing to put in a game like this, it's because they didn't. They put the Battle Royale into the original Fortnite. When Fortnite released in 2017, it was a very different game, essentially a team game where you and your group ventured out during the day to gather weapons and materials to build a massive fort at night. Fortnite, where massive hordes of zombies would fall out of the sky, and your job was to survive them in your fort at night. This mode's actually still in the game under the title Save the World. It wasn't a bad game, it just didn't catch on, and that would normally be pretty devastating for a game company, but as luck had it, Fortnite was made by one of the biggest game studios in the world, Epic Games. Epic has been in the gaming business for a very long time, and they're responsible for a lot of really great IPs, including Gears of War for the Xbox. But their big money maker for many years now has not been a game, it has been the Unreal Engine. It's not a car engine. No, not a car engine. No. Game engines are basically tool sets that make it easier to make your game, and a lot of games use Unreal Engine. That's why Epic wasn't terribly concerned when Fortnite didn't live up to expectations. But then they had a hackathon. Hackathons are something that started at Facebook, and the entire tech industry quickly jumped on the bandwagon because the very first thing that anyone in the tech industry does when they're trying to solve a problem is ask themselves, what does Facebook do? I've worked at Facebook, and the very first thing they do when they have a problem to solve is ask, what do they do at not Facebook? Basically, a company gives their employees a week to not work on what they're supposed to be working on and get experimental. And some of those experiments, if they turn out to be cool enough, might get resources to become a real thing, whether that's internal tools or a shipped product. And right around the time of this hackathon, the new hotness in the industry was a game called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. PUBG for short, because no one likes saying PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, nope, hate it. Now, PUBG didn't invent the Battle Royale genre, but they did popularize it, selling millions of copies mostly through word of mouth. And when the Epic Hackathoners added the Battle Royale mechanics to Fortnite, it was so popular internally that they decided to ship it. And when they did, they shipped it for free. $30 PUBG, free Fortnite, free! PUBG still enjoys a very strong player base, but free-to-play Fortnite eclipsed it almost overnight. It even started to overtake the former cash cow. Fortnite now makes billions of dollars annually, despite the fact that the game still labels itself as being in early access. Seriously guys, you're gonna have to take that down at some point. Fortnite is so big that it supports secondary markets. There's a whole slew of professional gamers with almost superhuman skill who make a good living streaming the game daily. One of the big ones is Ninja. He makes millions upon millions of dollars a year playing Fortnite, but some more family-friendly options might be people like Cypher PK, or Obey Upshaw, or Nick 30. And believe me, it can be a real education to watch these guys play and see how they do it. Wait, how's it making all this money? You said it was free to play. I did, and it is. Depending on what platform you pay it on, you may need to pay for some online service, but it is absolutely free to download and play Fortnite, and Epic Games is exceedingly good at getting you to pay for it anyway. Fortnite's economy is largely built on skins and emotes. Those are basically costumes and animations for your in-game characters, like dances. If your kid is under 15 and can pull off a complete dance with authority, odds are good it's a Fortnite dance. And Fortnite has some really cool skins. They have Star Wars skins, Avengers skins, Batman skins, Deadpool skins, and that's in addition to some really fun original designs they release at a pretty steady clip. Anyone running around Fortnite in one of its standard skins is generally regarded as a noob, which is a bad thing. Noob! Even if they just went completely sick house on your team, wrecked everyone, and won the game. Noob! And the way to get those cool skins and emotes is by participating in Fortnite's microtransaction economy. You buy their in-game currency V-Bucks and spend those in their in-game store or on their Battle Pass subscription. Fortnite is broken up into seasons that usually last 3 to 4 months, and the new season changes things up. Epic might alter the map in significant ways, add new elements like helicopters or giant fighting robots. No one liked the giant fighting robots. And they drop a ton of new skins and emotes which are only unlockable through the Battle Pass. It costs about $10 and it doesn't give you the stuff for free. You still have to earn it by playing the game and earning experience points and leveling up your character. You get XP by eliminating other players or just surviving for a whole 2 minutes. The Battle Pass also unlocks specific challenges for huge XP dumps. And every time you level up your character, it unlocks a new reward. And some of those rewards are really cool. Skins and emotes are how players represent themselves in this digital landscape. And if that seems a little silly to you, I might only ask if at some point in the past you yourself indulged in some nice clothes or some fine jewelry or maybe a new car. But what you probably really want me to do is tell you whether or not your kids should play Fortnite. That's up to you. You're their parents. All I can do is give you information to help you make those choices. So, bad news first. Like any multiplayer game, Fortnite has its share of toxic players, and the game by definition is violent. You are running around shooting other players and getting shot. That said, there's not any blood or exploding heads, and when your character is eliminated, they're instantly teleported off the battlefield. And there are in-game tools to mute or even avoid players you don't like completely. And it has to be said that Fortnite is tailor-made for your kids and their friends to play together. It's free, it works across all platforms, so it doesn't matter what device everyone's playing on, they can still play together. And there's even a free creative mode that they can get into and play around in without all the shooting. They'll still do the shooting. And increasingly, Fortnite is becoming a cultural touchstone. They routinely have in-game events like this live concert by Travis Scott, where they disable all the combat and just let people soak in the mind-bending visuals and amazing music. I mean, can you imagine what Kiss would do with something like that? And yeah, the game itself is fun to play. Don't get me wrong, Fortnite can be a rough game, especially when you're first starting out. You don't know where anything is, you don't know how anything works, and while you're running around aimlessly trying to figure these things out, you're going to get picked off from across the map by an 8-year-old who's been playing since they were 6. I may know this from personal experience. But that's the game, and people do love it. And your kids might too. In all honesty, my brilliant plan to dissuade my kids from playing Fortnite was to let them play Fortnite, and it didn't work.